The shortage of baby formula has grown into a major challenge for parents all around the country. Today, President Biden defended the administration's response, saying that his team responded as soon as it understood the problem, although it began months ago. When pressed on whether he could have acted more quickly, the president said, quote, "If we had been better mind readers, I guess we could have."
These newly revealed documents showing the Pentagon knew terrorists were going to bomb the airport in Kabul during the withdrawal from Afghanistan and then did nothing to stop it. This weekend marked 2 years since an ISIS suicide bomber attacked Abbey Gate at Kabul airport, killing 13 U.S. service members and 160 civilians. NewsNation has obtained Pentagon documents that show U.S. officials knew exactly where ISIS terrorists were hiding and that they were planning a suicide bombing.
Huge reaction to that FBI raid at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence, where 15 boxes of material were hauled away. The unprecedented search warrant against a former president has both sides of the political aisle up in arms.
They discovered a small number of documents of classified markings in storage areas and file cabinets in my home and my personal library.
With the White House in damage control over the special counsel report that described the president as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
People, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage, okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street. But at any rate, yes, as well as my Corvette.
Tonight, sabotage at sea. That's what President Biden is calling the leaks and explosions along the Nord Stream pipelines. The Russian gas lines are essential. They supply 35% of gas from Russia into Europe. They've been attacked.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
A balloon that flew across the U.S. earlier this year reportedly collected intelligence for China. China says it was just a weather balloon, but CNN is reporting that it was able to transmit images and signals back to China in real time. Intelligence officials say they don't believe the balloon collected any more information than what Chinese satellites were already getting. The balloon first arrived in Alaska in late January before it was shot down off the East Coast on February 4th.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin today grilled by angry lawmakers demanding to know why it took so long to tell the president and Congress about his undisclosed hospital stays.
I believe most members of this committee are bewildered at how these events could transpire.
It's Austin's first time facing the House Armed Services Committee since his surgery for prostate cancer in December. He returned to the hospital with complications, spending days in the ICU.
We did have a breakdown in notifications during my January stay at Walter Reed, and that is sharing my location and why I was here. Again, we did not handle this right, and I did not handle it right.
The Pentagon admits even the president wasn't told about Austin's cancer diagnosis until several weeks after his first surgery.
It's totally unacceptable that it took 3 days to inform the President of the United States that the Secretary of Defense was in the hospital and not in control of the Pentagon.
Either the president is that aloof or you are irrelevant. Which one is it, Mr. Secretary?
It's neither. The president is not aloof.
Texas is blocking federal agents from processing migrants in a public area of Eagle Pass, just a mile away from the U.S.-Mexico border. The move is the latest escalation between the state and federal government over the nation's immigration policy. Texas's Republican Governor Greg Abbott deployed National Guard troops to the park. They are now preventing U.S. Border Patrol agents from entering and patrolling the area. The federal government previously used the space to hold migrants in a staging area before further processing.
Breaking news right now, a train derailment in East Palestine and then massive flames. Fire crews from 3 states rushed to the scene this morning. That fire is controlled but still burning.
You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
President Biden again testing positive for COVID. The White House saying the president is back in isolation after a rare rebound case after receiving treatment with the drug Paxlovid.
So there's no excuse for anyone being unvaccinated. This continues to be a pandemic of the unvaccinated. I need you to get vaccinated when it's your turn and when you can find an opportunity. And to help your family, your friends, your neighbors get vaccinated as well. Because here's the point. If we do all this, if we do our part, if we do this together, by July the 4th, there's a good chance you, your families and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout or a barbecue and celebrate Independence Day. I am concerned that people who have not gotten vaccinated have the capacity to catch the variant and spread the variant to other people who have not been vaccinated. I am not concerned there's going to be a major outbreak, in other words, that we're going to have another epidemic nationwide, but I am concerned lives will be lost. I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated or show a negative test at least once a week. I will sign an executive order that will now require all executive branch federal employees to be vaccinated, all. And I've signed another executive order that will require federal contractors to do the same. If you want to work with the federal government and do business with us, get vaccinated.
Now to the battle for the truth. Author Nina Jankowicz was, for a short while, the face of the U.S. efforts to take on disinformation.
Sure. This was an intra-agency policy group at the Department of Homeland Security coordinating or meaning to coordinate the best practices across the department to really respond to disinformation. Of course, that board never got off the ground because there were a lot of conspiracy theories coming mostly from the American right that said that the board was going to be engaging in censorship.
The board has never convened. It never convened, and the board is pausing.
Well, current U.S. President Joe Biden has just 3 weeks left on the job. And ahead of his departure, he's pledged billions more in aid to Ukraine in its ongoing fight against Russian aggression. Now, the contribution is just the latest of many since early February of 2022.
Now that you know where we've been, find out where we're going. Tune in to Ladies Love Politics, where you can stay informed without going insane.